if you want to really feel a sense of being attuned with your parents or those who have departed, and being in harmony and giving a joyous tilanjali, a joyous offering to your parent, turn your steps to Godward love. Love God. Allow that love to develop in your heart. If that happens, it touches the heart of everyone. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Brahmanandam Param Sukhadam Kevalam Jnana Murtim Dvandvatitam Gagan Sadrisham Tattvamasya Laksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Om. Adorations to Sadguru, who is Brahman, the giver of supreme bliss, embodiment of pure consciousness, one without a second, vast as ether, infinite, eternal, beyond the three gunas and their modifications, the supreme preceptor. Yoga Vasistha Upashama Prakarana, section 19. A new story is given, the story of Punya and Pavana. Sri Vasistha continued, O Rama, with relation to the spiritual attitude that all living beings are one's relatives, I am reminded of the story of Punya and Pavana, which I will relate to you. The insight you are being given, of course, the basic insight is how to attain enlightenment, liberation. Yoga Vasistha doesn't know anything else. Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. Brahman alone is the reality. And realization of Brahman is the goal. Coming to Godward insight, more precisely, mokshaward insight, the type of insight that will pave the way for souls to attain liberation. And that requires your understanding of what, when we talk of karma, and what the karma's role is. Without going into details, one thing to understand that all your near and dear ones, they are based on your karma. And your near and dear ones may be very extensive. Some may be living in Australia, some in Alaska. And you may be quite caught up with lots of details, interesting details. But satsanga and the profound study opens the door to understanding that firstly, all your near and dear ones are not under your control. Anytime, anyone can say goodbye to you. Farewell forever. And don't be shocked. You are in no way different from them. You may go on saying to them, I love you so much, we'll never be separated. And next day, kick the bucket. And then they cry over it. Why did you say all that? When we were so cruel, we went away. You have to bear with my details. And this has happened life after life. This point has to enter the mind. Sometimes human mind is so kid stage that mind never opens. Mind has opened to so many things of history and geography and all that. But the simple point, where have you been through the passage of time? The mind has not developed that in the world of progress. That point never enters. They all say, oh, the life should be made happy. But what about life that we have gone through? And that's not a matter of just belief. If you are really rational, question arises, you have been. You are not just coming quick, just for the first and last time in this embodiment. And your present embodiment itself is a magic. It's like an iPad, big iPad, not a small eye, big one. All your experiences are hanging upon little brain and nerves. All your experiences, no matter how wonderful they are. And when you go to sleep, you kick all the experience. And wake up not surprised at all. You never think you lived without all that, untouched, unaffected, no injury. Why can't you have the same experience all the time? You have the possibility of staying beyond your mind, intellect, and ego. And when you are beyond all that, the whole world and all its problems have nothing to do with you. All this point we will go on highlighting more and more. But here, simple point. Vasistha says, O Rama, with relation to the spiritual attitude that all living beings are one's relatives. All. ALL. Once upon a time, an interesting story is being told that the art of giving spiritual teachings to the masses. Sages were big storytellers. Once upon a time, there lived a sage called Dirgha Tapa. Dirgha Tapa means one who is practicing tapa, austerity, which have been practicing for a long time. Sustained austerity. So Dirgha Tapa, he was practicing austerity in the Mahendra mountains. He dwelt with his wife and his two sons, Punya and Pavana. In a most enchanting atmosphere of nature. Nature is always enchanting. From morning till night. Open your eyes towards the sky. Always something drama goes on. Open your eyes to nature around you. Even an old dilapidated tree is giving you a lot of mystery. I will not go into that detail because there are many other interesting things here. As time passed, the elder son, Punya, attained enlightenment. His brother, Pavana, on the other hand, although he had turned away from the follies of the world, he had not yet become established in Brahman. Therefore, he had not overcome the agitations of the mind. Punya literally means virtue, virtuous movement. Virtue movement climaxes in liberation. Pavana is purifying movement. If you do good karmas, you go on purifying yourself. Purifying movement opens the door to many things. You go after prayer or shreya. Go after things that are pleasant, make your life prosperous, or you can as well move towards attaining liberation. But just staying in early stage, the pavana is not fulfilled. In simple terms, pavana has to be attuned with punya. And storyline, punya has to give him a lot of teachings and inspire him. In course of time, sage Dirgha Tapa, whose body was overcome with old age, adopted the yogic art of leaving the body, just as a bird leaves its nest. In the same way, the sage was established in wisdom, left his mortal body and became one with the Absolute. People who are reading it without having deeper, they will say, oh, he committed suicide. What is? Sages, no matter whatever may be the way they pass away, no matter whichever way they pass away, by disease, by even being shot, crucified, no matter whichever way they pass away, the description is they left their body by their will. And it's elaborately presented in the Mahabharata. Bhishma dies when he wants to die. That people think of something very strange and unique. But that's, once you are in the hands of God, then no matter when you are going to die, how you are going to die, you have no problem with it. And since you are attuned with God, it is not contradictory to your will. May His will be triumphant. Surrender to divine will, in simple idea. Once you have surrendered to divine will, then good news. You will die according to your will. So Dirgha Tapa, the father, passed away according to his will. At the departure of her husband, his wife also adopted the yogic technique of leaving the body. even though her body was not subjected to age and disease. Here again, prarabdha karma can terminate the body in old age or in young age. Yet she, even as a black bee leaves a withering lotus, left her body and followed the course of her husband's spirit, finally to Brahman. Because of his inward enlightenment, their elder son Punya was unshaken by the death of the parents. Punya follows the inheritance. That means Punya follows the example of his father. In brief, he attained enlightenment. Virtuous movement climaxes in enlightenment. If you want to develop virtue, strength of virtue, your mind has already moved away from enjoyment to virtue. Once your mind is using virtue for enjoyment, then that's a different, then the virtue is not real virtue, it is a purification movement, pavana. So Punya was unshaken by the death of the parents. But his younger brother Pavana, being yet immature in wisdom, began to grieve over their loss. He was unable to find comfort or solace anywhere. Therefore, after performing the proper rituals for the death of the parents, Punya approached Pavana for the purpose of enlightening him. Punya is the elder brother who saw his younger brother in a state of grief. In brief, he started guiding. Punya said to his sorrowing brother, "O Pavana, why do tears flow through your eyes like rain from clouds? Why do you grieve for our father and mother who being enlightened, have attained the highest state of liberation? If you really love your parents and they have attained enlightenment, why should you grieve? It should be a matter of great rejoicing. Why do you grieve for them who have become one with the self?" Now, another point is implied in this type of teaching, that you may say, "But I don't know that my parents have attained enlightenment." The answer is, why do you grieve? Your parents have not attained enlightenment, and you are not the guru. They are being guided by God. So why not leave the matter there? So, whether a soul has attained enlightenment or not, you don't have to allow your mind to be burdened by grief. And that way, don't think that you are helping the departed soul. It is your trouble and you have to help yourself. It has nothing to do with the departed soul. And another point, if you want to really feel a sense of being attuned with your parents or those who have departed, and being in harmony and giving a joyous tilanjali, a joyous offering to your parent. Turn your steps to Godward love. Love God. Allow that love to develop in your heart. If that happens, it touches the heart of everyone. And let me quote from the Bhakti Sutra of Narada. Modante pitaravu, nityante devata. If you have begin to develop love of God, then all the spirits of forefathers, no matter where they are, in whatever predicament, the good news enters. And they suddenly spark up that in their line, someone has done such a wonderful thing. And the radiation of that attainment touches the heart of everyone. Modante pitaravu. Forefathers, their souls rejoice. Nityante devata. If they have become devatas, they begin to dance because even Devaloka is not the ultimate. Sanatha cheyam bhur bhavati. And the entire Prithvi Mata, the earth goddess, feels fulfilled. She has been carrying your burden for long. You are suffering from mental afflictions. You have developed the illusion, this is my mother, this is my father. But in fact, there is no mother or father or any other relative in this world. All is the self. What you are essentially, the same applies to everyone. If you become aspirant and you receive the teaching to practice Aham Brahmasmi, so don't look at yourself, Aham Brahmasmi, but not them. They are just the sticks. What applies to you applies to everybody. If you are Brahman, all are Brahman. Even cats, dogs, and even small animals, all are Brahman. Through repeated embodiments, every soul acquires numerous fathers, mothers, sisters, brothers, wives, husbands, and numerous other relatives. You have had thousands of fathers and mothers before. For whom should you grieve? Allow your mind to understand that this is not something that we have to believe. It's very simple, rational understanding. Now, again, the message is, therefore, it doesn't mean that you should reduce your sense of warmth that you feel with mother, father, relatives. Only understand the warmth is not coming from them. They are channels. It's coming from God. So therefore, they are channels to lead you to God, Godward love. Just like your own body is a channel, is not Brahman, bodily. I'm not talking in a different way. O Pavana, through repeated embodiments, every soul acquires numerous fathers, etc. You have had thousands of fathers or mothers before. Like the waves in a river, you have had numerous children and grandchildren through countless embodiments. Just as a giant tree has produced abundant fruits every season, even so, in every birth, you have had many sons, daughters, brothers, sisters, and other relatives. Although with the passage of time you have become separated from them, yet you do not grieve for them. Then why have you developed so much hopeless grief? First point to understand, your grief is not doing any change. Those who are departed, they are not coming back. And by grieving, you are simply allowing your own mind to become weakened. So even after you begin to forget the person who has died, grief has entered your mind and it wants to be petted. So, the smallest little frustration comes in your life, in brief, grief takes over your head. If you do insist on grieving for them, then you should as well grieve for the thousands of parents that you had lost through your numerous past embodies. Oh, fortunate soul, this world is an illusory projection of Maya. It's cosmic illusion. In fact, the spirit has no parents, no mothers, no brothers, sisters, relatives. It is the non-dual Brahman, absolute. We're not talking about soul that incarnates. We're talking about the absolute self. Soul is like reflected sun in a jar of water. How many reflected suns? Countless. Wherever there is water, there is a reflected sun. Wherever there is a mental process, there is a soul. Those souls will continue to incarnate, go into from bucket to bucket. How many buckets? There's no end. But soul of the soul, el soul, the sun, that remains untouched. And every soul has that reality. Until you come to grip of that identity, I am that, you are wandering in this world. Your aham has gone into mayhem. All this said quickly, but that implies you are going into a whole process of patient, persistent process of sadhana to attain liberation. Otherwise, you are being pushed to do thousands of things, more than you can imagine. But instead of being pushed, push yourself on sadhana, path of sadhana. That push will hush all other pushes of yoga. Just as drops of water cannot stay on the burning sands of a desert. In the same way, the misery of the world does not even touch Brahman. All the limitations of the earth, that all the little suns go through all the problems, but nothing of that touches the sun. The reality remains untouched. All that you see in the world of today, the glory of the glorious, the wealth of the wealthy, the power of the ruling class, all that buzzes along from morning till night through your TVs and news media. I'm nothing is against them. See, I'm just talking about philosophical understanding. All that are passing dreams that exist only for a short time. That also like mirage. The fictitious me has gotten a Raj. Therefore, taking recourse to the inward vision of the self, give up the veil of ignorance, which is the cause of your sorrow. That's your goal before you. Remove that ignorance. Realize your true identity. Just as a patient suffering from delirium speaks of many things that have no reality, until one attains enlightenment, one is suffering from delirium of bhavavyadhi, disease of the world process. In the same way, the soul caught by the grip of ignorance continues to experience the illusions of meeting with a dear relative and parting from him. Meeting, parting, gain, loss, rise, fall, all these are delirium. Knowing this world to be like a mirage, O Pavana, give up your soul. Section 20. Punya continues to explain with more details. Punya said, O Pavana, it is the whirlwind of illusion that gathers the transient world of human relations. Whirlwind of illusion. Bhranti bhavar. Illusion bhranti, bhavar, whirlpool. When the storm is over, all these illusions vanish. The storm is led by ignorance. Therefore, who is the father? Who is the mother? Who is any relative in this world? And you don't have to go far and wide to understand that point. Watch people who, in their aging process, lose their normal mind. And they are suffering and all that. The dearest son or daughter comes close, and in that state, the patient looks up and says, who are you? All the memory moves away. So that's the predicament of the world. Years and years of loving service and relation, all dependent upon little brain centers. And that you can't do anything about. That's the nature. You can do by understanding that you need to attain liberation, not to stay in the bucket. stuck to the muddy water. Led by the illusions of the mind, one develops the notion that this is my friend, this is my dear relative, this is my enemy. Again, another message you shouldn't forget. The message is not to become stone-like, detached. Since I have studied Vedanta, you are not my friend. Nobody is my friend. Yes, enemies can be, all right. No friend. Message is become more friendly. Don't stay friends because of the good nose and good eyes. Become friend to be able to awaken the spiritual sensitivity in the person and thereby allow your own spirituality to also blossom. So that type of relation has to develop, which is not contradicting your practical relation, only bringing a profound quality to it. And that is the subtle mantra behind real progress for humanity. All the teachings and all others, until that point is brought into the masses, how your love should be attuned with God's love. You are loving godly love directed to people, not business love, not market love, market. I'll just give you the humor about market. Market love is market. Love that is creating bondage, karmic bondage. Led by karma, you are going to die. And then you are going to be born. And you are going to go on with that. Led by the magical power of mind, even poison appears like nectar. And nectar becomes poison. की रही भावना जैसी प्रभु मूर्ति देखी तिन तैसी. God is the reality. But then you experience your reality based on your bhavana, based on your subtle vasanas. Therefore, do not let your mind sustain the notion that your relatives are the reality. No one is the reality. Rather understand that they are illusory expressions of ignorance, which is good news. In every relation, you are being led to touch God. And for touching God, you are not confined only to the near and dear ones. And that type of love is not confined just to human beings, animals, birds, all living creatures. The reality in them, as well as in yourself, is the absolute self, Brahman. You are not this body consisting of flesh, blood, and bones. You shouldn't forget that. Look at yourself and determine if there is anything in the body that could be the real Pavana. Even the names of Punya and Pavana are mere convention adopted to sustain the practical realities of the world. They are also illusory concepts of the mind. Parents give the name. There is nothing authentic about it. Whatever name they like. And of course, in Hindu culture, most parents give divine names. Most, but not all of them. In other cultures, you can give a person named Wolf. Crow. You have complete freedom. Now, Punya goes into further detail. Driven by ignorance, O Pavana, once you were born as a deer in the forest. This is not the illustration that he knows exactly. But this simple understanding led by the mind. You sported with your relatives, who were also deer. But now, no matter how dear they were, those deer, you do not grieve for them. In another embodiment, you were a swan, sporting in lakes and rivers, abounding with lotuses. You delighted with your swan relatives. But where are they now? And yet you do not grieve for them. Once upon a time, you became a lion and lived happily with your lion relatives. But now they are all gone. And don't grieve of them. Don't cry out, where are you, my lioness? Oh, Pavana, you have been a fish, a prince, a crow, a dog, a Brahmin, a bird, a scorpion, a chandala, and many types of beings. And now you are my brother. Do you bother to know more? Now he gets stirred up, looks at his brother, and now he switches his description to himself. I can also see many embodiments of my own self. I was once a parrot in the Dirgha country, a frog in a certain river, a bird in the forest, a camel in Vindhya mountains, a king in the country of Pondra. And the same one is your brother. I've passed through countless embodiments, but now I abide in wisdom. I am Brahman. O Pavana, you are in fact the birthless self. You have no relatives. You are the only reality. Therefore, inquire into the nature of the self. Discover your true identity as Brahman and be free. And with this, I will conclude.
Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti